Tony B, welcoming you to another edition. Let's hit the intro, shall we? Boom.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKG and W289CU Knoxville, Fanrun Radio.
I'm all in a tizzy in here as we're fired up, focused, and prepared. Tony Basilio along with you. I'm like turning up dials, turning them down, putting this up. Forgot to put my headphones on. You know, we're off to a good start today. No headphone, no show. No headphone, no show would be the way I would couch this thing today. And I'm not a big expert on such things, but no headphone, no show, right? Would that be a fair thing to maybe come up with? As we're pretty fired up for you, pretty focused for you. Pretty excited for you. Pretty jacked up. Excited to be with you, pumped today. Make no mistake about it. And here we are. It's kind of a great thing. And this thing's not. Hey, Laura. I need Laura in here. This thing's not working. Here, if you could see if you could help me find our show on YouTube. I'm trying to dial in with you. Matt Dixon! What's up? What's up, Matt Dixon?
Great to be back. Great to be back.
Man, I'm glad you're back and feeling better. I'm glad you're back, back for the crown, bro. It's a rough world out there, Matt Dixon, is it not? Everything that's going around right now?
It is, but there's always people worse off, and people in the mid-state without power, or really, I guess, all over the state. So,
buddy, that's awful.
But yeah, it's great to be back on with you guys. I missed you guys.
Well, we missed you. We've had so many people reaching out and asking about you, and I just wanted to honor your whatever the term is. I wanted to honor your absence and not give it away, so to speak, and all that stuff. And people were worried about you, but we're so glad. We are just so glad that you're back, man. And so let's give Matt hit the like button for Matt Dixon today. I hit the like button for Matt Dixon. I'm fired up for you. John Adams just reached out. He's not feeling 100%, so he'll be with us Thursday. His absence today presented by Jennifer Morris, Next Move, SmokyMountains.com. So the SEC commissioner got worked and played, and we understand people aren't very excited or happy about it. In the next little bit, we're going to talk to the great Anthony Dasher, and T's going to jump on with us. We're going to talk about the Georgia Bulldogs, who are off to a pretty good start in hoops, just like kind of like the league, Matt. The league is kind of a glob of teams this year, and they're one of them, right?
Yeah. There's no real clear-cut favorite. It doesn't feel like. Maybe it had been Florida, but I mean, I think they got waxed. It might have been by Texas. I can't remember.
Auburn got them. Yeah,
Auburn got them, but I think
somebody else got them. They lost two. That's right. You're right.
Yeah, of course that Vanderbilt team that was like 17-0 has the same league record as Tennessee right now.
Yup.
So it's just a whole bunch of teams. I'm not sure. Unlike last year, I'm not sure there's like a title contender like there were probably 2 or 3 last year. But you've got a bunch of teams that are going to beat each other up, which it makes for some fun basketball. There's only just maybe 3 or 4 teams down there at the bottom that aren't going to be competitive most nights. But yeah, it's going to be fun. That was a huge one at Alabama. Tennessee's just a great matchup. The way Barnes defends is just such a great matchup.
I really hope that one lifted your spirits. Yeah, I was really hoping that one would lift your spirits, Matt, because truly, you're the guy that said down through the years, as long as they're going to play idiotic basketball like that, at Alabama, and we had some good stuff in the blog today. Of course, C helped me with a bunch of that stuff today that I had in the list. Some observations on where this team is, where they can go from here, how they can grow from here. I'm going to be at the Tip-Off Club on Monday interviewing Gillespie. So if folks want to get out and come see that, shout out Mike Turner and the guys. But I'll be down there hosting an interview with Gillespie. Look, for better or for worse, and Mark Griffin will be by, Marky Mark and the Lunchy Bunch in hour 2. But for better or for worse, this is a two-man basketball team. And you need a third to come, a third and a fourth to whether it's an Evans, whether it's a Henderson, whether it's in a perfect world, Estrella continues to come, whether it's a Bishop Boswell. I mean, you got to get 25, 30 points elsewhere, basically. This is going to be a two-man game, man. This is a two-man show here, in my mind, on offense.
Yeah, well, we've kind of known that you're going to go as far as your two kind of key players carry you.
Yep.
Because you just don't have a lot of like help with those guys on, especially on a consistent basis and especially from scoring, because as we've talked about, Boswell just isn't going to be a guy that's going to get you, double digits, hardly ever in league play. So yeah, you need your stars to be stars, and you need those guys to shoot, half your shots or more. And just let everything flow through them and hope you can find it. It's where the Isaac McNeely kid that's at Louisville, that's where you really miss that kind of third scorer, a guy that's not going to create, but he doesn't have to because he's just going to get kickouts and things like that and have things open up for him. This is where you just not having that kind of outside threat really hurts this team, because you just like you said, this team's just going to not be able to score enough in a lot of games.
And McNeely has kind of gotten lost there. They got absolutely obliterated last night by Duke. I mean, last night was a horrible sports night. My damn Flyers, man. Professional sports. Did you see what happened with my Sixers yesterday, Brian Hartman? They moved their game to the middle of the afternoon, right? If you're going to move your game to the middle of the afternoon and the other team doesn't show up, did you play your game, Bri? Did you play your game, Bri? When you're down 45 points, like in the middle of the third quarter in a game, and you're down 50 at one point, did you play your game, Bri? What do you think of that? Is that respecting your game, Bri?
Did Joel Embiid suit up?
MB.
Was he on the energy management list?
You know who's really been struggling is our guy, Maxey, who I've loved and served all these years. Great NBA player. Way better than I ever thought he would be. 865-200-5402.
How did Bediako do against the Sixers G League team?
Let's talk about Betty Crocco for a second. And Matt, I know you were in our group chat the other day when UT owned them. Whoever's doing UT's account over there absolutely owned, and I mean owned Alabama after that deal. That is so fun, Matt. But, one of our enterprising fans came up with a great idea, and that's to vote that guy onto the G League All-Star team. I love our fan base. Are you guys for or against voting, and should we get involved in this Betty Crocco thing and vote him in? Should we get Betty Crocco into the deal?
Absolutely. G League All-Star and third team All-SEC defense. That'd be a pretty nice combo.
I don't know if you heard through the fog of the haze of everything you were going, but did you hear Dave Neal's, that whole thing, that whole presentation of this Betty Crocco mockery of college sports the other night? How they made the guy sound like he was some kind of trailblazer.
I didn't hear the TV broadcast. Mike Keith kind of alluded to it and how they just kind of celebrated him like he was some guy returning from injury.
Good for Mike Keith. Good for Mike Keith. Yes.
So, and he was him and Lawson had some fun with that. But no, I mean the whole thing is just so ridiculous. My wife asked me about it, and I explained it to her, and she just had the most confusing look on her face. She's like, "What are you talking about?" Because it makes zero sense that a guy that left school early and has played professional basketball for 3 years is back in college. So,
of course, I predicted it.
He actually played pretty well. If they didn't have him, Tennessee wins that comfortably by 10 or 15.
Oh yeah. This Nate Oates guy, after watching this the other night and watching just his weirdness on the sidelines, I'm kind of glad for him. I like the fact that in basketball we got some guys you can kind of hate on. You got Stephen F. You got him. You got the guy at Ole Miss who's kind of a clown. You got the guy at Texas who's kind of a clown. The guy at Kentucky's too. The guy at Kentucky be like hating on a Disney character or something. Is Bambi a Disney character, Bri, or am I mixing my metaphors? But he really
Bambi is a cartoonish, so I guess that would count.
Yeah.
But I don't really want to talk too much smack on Bama because they got to play him again in a month. So
Brian will beat.
They're probably going to have their two. They're probably going to have their two best players back as well.
We'll beat them in the Walmart parking lot and halls. They could put their full team together. We could put 2 courts out. We could put a full court out there, and use the shopping carts as a sideline, and we'll blow them out. Come on, Brian. Every time we get on the floor with them, we own them. We own them. Here's a question. And Diskin, I want you to think about this because once Tony Dasher leaves, we're going to talk about this. So Sankey got worked. You know, the dust has settled, and Sankey got flat out wicked, as they say in the Bahamas. Sankey went to the league presidents and the commission and the ADs, and he said, "Look, we're going to 16 teams. Now we need to go. We need to go and play a 9-game schedule. We need to get real here." Okay. Matt, in light of what the Big Ten has done, should the SEC revisit their 9-game schedule or should they stay there? Because now you're at a disadvantage.
No, yeah. Without an expanded playoff, it does put you at a disadvantage. But you're not going to go back to 8. It kind of comes down to what you value. Do you value the home games, the regular season, the game, league games that matter, or do you want to make it a all-in playoff sport where the whole goal is about maximizing your playoff teams and winning in the postseason? Because that's kind of what it comes down to. Because you're, like you said, you're going to beat each other up and accuse some extra losses in league play now. And without the expanded playoff, that does hurt you because. And, Big Ten's won 3 straight titles, but look at the non-conference that those 3 teams played.
That's exactly right.
It was 9 just gimme games. So, and I mean, obviously they played 9 league games, but, 1 or 2
look
of
at their
those
9
are
league
gimmies
games
as well.
That's exactly right. They've got gimmies in their league. Now, the league, the one thing that's happened here, and we'll talk, I'm going to ask Anthony Dasher about this. The interesting thing that's happened in this league is we've got so many teams that lay one on top of the other now that it's really hurt the great teams. Georgia's not as great as they were. Alabama's not as great as they were. Georgia is not as loud in the transfer portal as you'd think they would be if you look at what they've done, which I want to talk to Anthony about that. By the way, I'm looking at the Weather Channel here. Helen, Georgia, wherever that is. It's 13 degrees and the wind's blowing there. I mean, it's frigid all over the place. But Anthony Dasher on the other side right after this. When it's time for your next move, you want to get your precious belongings from point A to point B with your peace of mind intact. That's why you need to call my friends at Gouffon Moving and Storage, East Tennessee's moving legend. Gouffon Moving and Storage has been helping East Tennesseans move since 1887. That's 138 years. 5 generations. That's even longer than the Dooley, Jones, and Pruitt era combined. Gufon Moving and Storage are pro movers, serving Knoxville, surrounding areas, and interstate moves too, both residential and commercial. And we'll provide you with personalized service that other corporate movers simply cannot. We know how to move all types of items. We pay careful attention to our clients' valuables. Your satisfaction as a customer is our absolute priority. As the oldest continually owned and operated family moving business in the United States, when it's time for your next move, it's Gufon Moving and Storage. And storage, it's secure and vaulted. Our newest offering of commercial storage logistics, we offer receiving, storage, and delivery services for all your business logistic needs. See more at Gufon.com. That's Gufon.com. Or check out the link at tclub.team. When it's time for your next move, East Tennessee's moving legend, Gufon Moving and Storage. Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776, or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Cold weather is here. Is your heating system ready and running efficiently? Don't wait to find out. A simple tune-up now can help prevent costly breakdowns when you need your heat the most. Right now, Pipe Wrench is offering a $79 heating system tune-up to keep your home warm, safe, and worry-free all winter long. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune every part of your heating system for maximum efficiency and comfort, helping you avoid surprise breakdowns and high energy bills. And with Pipe Wrench Home Service's same-day service guarantee, you won't be left out in the cold waiting for help. Your comfort isn't just our job, it's our promise. Schedule your $79 heating system tune-up today at PipeWrench.com before winter decides to test your heater. Pipe Wrench Home Services, trusted in Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and neighboring communities for over 20 years. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free. For standard systems only, visit PipeWrench.com for details.
TB here with Alan of WeShipFloors.com. Tell them about it, Alan.
Hey, I'm Alan from WeShipFloors.com. Our competition's prices, well, they're going up. Ours are coming down. Our waterproof floor Supercore is the best, and right now it starts at $199 a square foot. Our warehouses are full of 4mm, 6mm, and 8mm. You strapped for cash? Well, we have our own in-house financing. Use our room visualizer and order some free samples today. Supercore from WeShipFloors.com. Best products at best price.
Like Alan said, head over to WeShipFloors.com. Use the room visualizer on the website. Drop in any of the 120 Supercore floors virtually into your room and order your free samples today. WeShipFloors.com. Tennesseans, they are us. The best product, the best price. WeShipFloors.com. Living Vol fan, when it's time to get ready for 2026 and what's ahead, there's only one place. It's Alumni Hall, the best and largest selection of Tennessee apparel for the whole family. Top brands, Nike, Champion, Columbia, Peter Millar. And check this out. All the basketball stuff that the Tennessee basketball fan could ever need. Some great Tennessee baseball stuff as well. Any season, any reason. Alumni Hall, 3 locations in Knoxville. Also Murfreesboro, Bristol, and now open, of course, in Johnson City. And anytime online, alumnihall.com. Say it loud, say it proud. The ultimate volunteer shopping experience. Alumni Hall. Score a TD every time with T3 Vodka. T3 is Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. T3 Vodka is taking the volunteer state by storm. T3 Vodka, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains, where quality isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. Filtered 10 times and 80 proof. T3 Vodka delivers a smoothness that's unmatched. This dedication to excellence has already earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades. T3 is a 5-time gold medal winning vodka and the 2025 SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner. Whether you're sipping it neat or on the rocks or mixing up your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka is your choice for a premium, award-winning experience. Score a T3 TD and ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, drink T3 Vodka and score a touchdown every time. T3, Tennessee's premium vodka. Please drink responsibly. And I got to tell you that the Vols and the Dogs pushed their game back a night, and nobody's sad about it, okay? So you see on your schedule that Tennessee's playing basketball tonight. It's tomorrow night. We'll be on with Garza Law. Tennessee basketball overtime when that one concludes. Anthony Dasher now joins. He's UGAsports.com. He has been covering Georgia for forever and a day. Got his On 3, making it happen. Football Writers Association, USBA Writers Association, NCB Writers Association. I mean, I don't mess with people. People, that have the amount of followers this guy has on Twitter and all those credentials next to his name, shares my first name, which, only, many are called, few are chosen. Anthony Dasher, friend of the program, friend of humanity. Welcome back, brother. How you doing?
Tony, I'm doing great, buddy.
Buddy, it is great to hear your voice. And you and I were just visiting before we get to the hoops. You and I were just visiting about, and by the way, Matt Dixon and Brian Hartman in the house as well on this Tuesday. Shout out to John Adams. John, get better. This era that we're in right now, that's thrust upon us, is total, complete madness. Trying to cover this stuff, right? And Georgia this year, with the portal, had a little more of a quiet time this time around. Did that surprise you that they sort of went the surgical route this time?
Not really. I know some Georgia fans will look around and see what LSU does. Some of these other schools do, Ohio State, whatever the case may be. These schools spending money and everything like that, and they want to know why Georgia won't do that. Well, the reason is Georgia won't do that because Kirby Smart is spending money on actual players on the team right now who are going to contribute to the cause for the team, next year, as opposed to going out and getting these other guys. But like you said, though, the ones they brought in, they had some very specific needs, I thought, with this, squad for next year. The secondary in particular, there were some gaps there that needed filled. They had one at the defensive end. They wanted to, short the running back room a little bit, which they were able to do. And, the players they brought in were ones, every one of them, I think, are guys, Georgia fans will probably hear their names called a lot this year because they were needs they needed to fill.
Yeah, last year, it's funny, right? The peer pressure of this stuff. Last year, I was watching Georgia sign all these guys out of the portal, and it was making me angry. I was like, man, they're already a have, and we didn't sign as many people, and that is the funniest thing. It's like the portal is the ultimate example of trying to keep up with the Joneses, isn't it? From a fan perspective standpoint, right?
Yeah, it's just like free agency in baseball, football, whatever the sport, may be. That's what college athletics has come to, and just depending on how much money you want to spend. And there are schools that we've seen that are out there right now that aren't shy about, throwing some major bucks around and making these kids instant millionaires.
You bow your head when you say thy name, Anthony Dasher joining. The Dogs have a luxury that a lot of schools don't, in that they've got a great football team and just had a few holes. We saw that here in Knoxville. The secondary was a hole. They addressed that. What other areas did Georgia address?
Well, I mentioned defensive end. So they brought in Amaris Williams from Auburn. Amaris played a decent role for the Tigers last year. Wasn't a main player, so to speak. But Georgia, again, they had Gabe Harris. They got Gabe coming back. Didn't get to play in the Sugar Bowl, so they wanted to address that and get some depth there. They brought him in. Running back was another position, so they brought in Dante Dowdle from Kentucky. It's actually kind of fun. This is actually Dante's like fourth team coming up for Georgia right now, so that's a little bit unusual. It kind of speaks to the craziness of what things are like right now. But he's a guy they think they can come in and maybe be that number 3 running back. Give him he was a big body guy, 6'1", 225, and has got some pretty good speed supposedly. So somebody they'll be able to use. But again, it's mostly the secondary, which they have some holes to fill. They brought in Khalil Barnes from Clemson, who's started for the Tigers the previous 2 years, and they brought in Jamarly Riddle, star safety type player from East Carolina, young man from down in South Georgia in Camden County. I think he's going to come in and play a significant role for him as well.
It's funny that the league is tiered, right? So Georgia's in that tier with the likes of Texas and Texas A&M. And to your point, Texas has maybe one of the more talented rosters in the country, and they went drunken sailor in a few spots and spent and go for those big high 5-star guys. Does that put pressure on Kirby, or does he not care, or that administration? Is that the kind of stuff you're talking about that garners conversation on your boards?
Yeah, I mean, people, it's like anything else. Like, people want Georgia to sign the quote-unquote best players, the gaudy players, the players people, everybody knows who their names are. But Coach Smart wants to preserve the team he's got and pay the players who have produced for Georgia. Give them the surplus of money that Georgia has right now as far as the NIL goes. And you look at the players that Georgia, lost through the portal. I'll be honest, none of those guys. I'm sitting here right now looking at the list of names or guys. I'm not sure they would have contributed much at all next year. And they did lose Janelle Aguero to Ole Miss. Janelle started most of the year for Georgia, but he had, toward the end of the year, he'd been replaced in the starting lineup by Rashawn Dinkins. He was a true freshman, last year. But otherwise, you look at the guys. Elo Medozi, I know was a name. Georgia fans were very excited about last year. But Elo just never did get on track, and was probably by the time the season was over, he was probably not even third string. So losing him is not going to be a major factor for Georgia. Probably the biggest name that maybe stung a little bit was Dom Kelly, who a backup cornerback who I thought had a lot of potential. Wound up going to Ohio State, but otherwise, of the names they've lost, it's really nobody that they're really going to miss.
Anthony Dasher joining. We're talking about just the aftermath of the portal and where things lay. Looking at the Dogs, you and I were talking off the air. It seems like they still have a needed offensive line. Are you satisfied with what they've done there, or do you think they still are going to add a body or two here? Or is it too late now, I guess?
Yeah, I'm not sure right now if there's anybody, in the portal as we speak as far as the offensive lineman goes, it's honestly better than what they've got. There's some decent names out there. But, I did think, once Monroe Freeling, left tackle, announced he was going pro, that maybe they would try to address that. But they did not. They brought in what I'm probably being nice when I say it's probably a project from Alabama and A&M, big kid they signed to maybe short some depth a little bit, but they feel pretty good, I think, about what they've got. Juan Gaston, who played extensively as a true freshman at guard, can also play tackle. He may move outside. And they've got a true freshman coming in who's actually on campus right now, Ukeen Ogboko, who is the younger brother of Nnamdi Ogboko, one of the nose guard for Georgia. He's a guy who already heard great things about. Could step in and play right tackle for him, next year, as we see Purdy again. How about playing some of these freshmen with Gaston and Dontrell Glover last year? So I think for the first group, I think they're okay. Depth is probably an issue right now. I thought they maybe would bring in more guys, maybe shorten that up too.
Breaking it down scientifically with the great Anthony Dasher. Ant, were you surprised that the Dogs moved their game back a night? Did that surprise you?
No, not at all. In fact, campus classes today don't open up, I think, till 1 o'clock. So they pushed it back. So I'm not surprised at all. Downtown Athens was pretty messed up by the ice that came through and everything. And Georgia's very, very careful. UGA, that is. About bringing the students back to campus if there's any ice around. So no, I wasn't surprised at all.
They call these guys the dunk. We're going to get our chance to watch the Dunk Yard Dogs. Is that something you came up with? Did you come up with that?
I did not come up with that one. I'm not sure who gets credit for that one, but it's a little different style of ball they're playing with this year. They do know how to get up. That's for sure.
Tell me about these guys. Are you surprised by the season they're having thus far?
Well, maybe a little bit. They're playing a different style of ball. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Mike White when he was Louisiana Tech. They would play this, up-tempo style, fast-paced. They did it, I think, maybe his second or third year when he was at Florida. This is the first year, third year at Georgia, we've been able to kind of bring in the athletes he's needed to kind of run that offense. And talking about a team hitting the portal on its knees, that's definitely been the case for the Georgia basketball team. I mean, Jeremiah Wilkinson has come in at the guard, and there's just really been a huge move. He scored 30-plus points a couple of times, had 32, I believe it was, against Arkansas here last week. Can catching, I'm sure all fans are very familiar, obviously, with his aunt, Mika, has come in and given the team a big boost, not only as an inside player, but from the perimeter. Wilkins really can shoot the three, and up until this last game against Oklahoma, he had been averaging like 15, 16 points a game in SEC play. Santos Cyril, who was, just watching one of the better big men, in the conference right now. He's been averaging double-figure points. He's second in the country in block shots, very active around the basket, and somebody I'm not sure where Georgia would be, it was one for him.
Yeah, and Blue Cain's really had a nice career for himself, too. Another Knoxville kid, right?
Yeah, he has. But Blue's been struggling from three-point range of late. He's only 2 for his last 26, and a little bit of a slump. So that's an area that I know Coach White and has been maybe working on getting him back on track a little bit, because when he's on, he's that extra score that they need in this offense to really make them as good as what they potentially can be. But right now, he's been having a little bit of trouble.
Hey, Matt Dixon, I'll jump you in here. These teams that play fast, right? We saw this with A&M a little bit when they were in town, and Tennessee ended up in double overtime with them, that buckyball thing. When you're as offensively challenged as we are, the Vols really have to control these games, Matt, don't they? These games can get away from you, especially on the road when you play a team like this.
Yeah, you want to slow games down, and it's always a lot easier to slow a team down than it is to speed a team up. So that plays into Tennessee's favor. Georgia's not a great 3-point shooting team, so that they can't run away from you like an Alabama or even A&M when they're shooting well can. But no, it's a good point that Tennessee has a more narrow path to winning most games this year than they have the past couple, because of the lack of offensive firepower and just the lack of scoring options that they have. But these are both two teams that are kind of built inside out, have some really, really good post players. Should be a real battle inside, and obviously the second chance points and and some of that will be key, as will the can Tennessee can not turn the ball over and just give the ball away and give up easy buckets, because Tennessee does have trouble scoring at times.
Yeah, and Georgia, Anthony, their calling card this year, and one of the things they're tops in the country in is fast break points. They're averaging I think it's like right around 23 a game, something like that. And so, that kind of thing concerns me, the fact that they get out and run. And they made a concerted effort, right? They added players to their team to be able to do this.
Oh, no doubt. I mentioned Jeremiah Wilkinson. They also added Smurf Linder has come in and really given the team a big boost off the bench. One of the freshmen, Jake Wilkins, the Dominique's son, has come in and really started to play more minutes here now in SEC play. Like I said, it's a very athletic team. I mean, but I will say one thing about the fast break points. A lot of that was accomplished and during the non-conference schedule. Not that Georgia didn't play a strong one, but once SEC play is started, you're playing teams who are just as athletic, maybe more athletic. That number kind of goes down a little bit. And against Oklahoma, I believe they only had like 6 fast break points in that one. So kind of you have to be careful when you get too caught up in the fast break points, I think, for Georgia, because a lot of that's depending on who they play.
Boy, that Oklahoma.
I'm sorry, Texas, not Oklahoma. Yeah, I'm sorry, Texas, not Oklahoma.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
The all this stuff runs together, Anthony. No need to.
It does. Trust me.
Trust me. I need a compass to get through these, to get through some of these shows. We have so many teams in the league now. As Anthony Dasher joins, we're previewing tomorrow night's festivities, where Georgia's 11-1 on their home floor. The one loss is to Ole Miss, another one of those kind of slow them down basketball teams. And Ole Miss sort of drug Georgia into it there in that game, didn't they? Pulling them into overtime.
Yeah, they put them in overtime. It was still a high-scoring game, though. It was like 95-93, whatever the final score was there. And that was one of Georgia's, probably poor defensive games. Rebounding has been an issue for Georgia all year long, especially in conference play. Again, when Mike White kind of went to this style of play, they're not as big on the front court as they were maybe last year. And that's kind of hurt them a little bit. It hurt them against Texas, the other day, and it hurt them against Ole Miss, where they just were a lot of standing around. In fact, at the very, very final bucket that Ole Miss won on, I mean, guy gets a shot between 4 players. I mean, that kind of thing should never happen, and that's something they kind of rallied back from that a little bit to get back-to-back wins, beat a very good Arkansas team in Athens. But then, again, they went on the road, got a 2-point win against Missouri, but then against Texas the other day that just imploded in the second half after the lead, and at the half by 6. I think Texas scored, 57 points there in the second stanza against Georgia. And they just, I don't know, it just was one of those games where just everything just, it's like a total collapse on offensively, defensively for the team.
And you mentioned Cannon Catchings, right? That's Tamika's nephew? Is that right?
Nephew. That is correct.
That's cool. So her father
How about that?
played for the Sixers when I was a little boy, Harvey Catchings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
That's a small world right there. I guess that's a kid's grandfather. My God, we getting old here.
Cannon's done a good job too. I mean, like I said, up until the game against Texas the other day, he'd been averaging, well into double figures for Georgia. And is one of those guys, if he gets hot from the three-point range, can do a lot of damage. And he started every single game for Georgia. This should have been a big part of things.
All right, let me lay this on you here. So the SEC decides to go to 9 league games. We're no longer on your schedule every year.
Yeah.
A little something different. The league feels a little newer, I guess, a fresh coat of paint with those two teams we've added and the 4 new additions here in the last 15 or so years. But now we're sitting here, and we're playing 9 league games, but we're still stuck at 12 in the playoff. And obviously the commissioner sold the league that we're going to go to 12, we're going to go to 16, we're going to go to 9. It's not going to matter. But now we're stuck playing each other 9 times, and we have a 12-team playoff, and the league's going to be beating on each other. You think they regret this, Anthony, doing this, going to 9 games?
Yeah, I think they do regret this, because when they went to 9 games, it was the assumption that the playoffs was going to get expanded, and supposedly by playing, the more conference games is going to, help your strength of schedule. Whatnot. Now I think it's going to hurt them. If it's just going to be 12 games, you're playing one extra SEC game. That's going to, at the end of the season, there's going to be fewer teams, able to qualify for the playoffs, and I don't think that's a good thing at all. And I think that's something that Commissioner Sankey just wasn't anticipating there. I'll just put it that way.
I'll tell you what, he's got some egg on his face. Your thoughts on the 9-game schedule? You happy to see it?
I guess as a college football fan, yeah, sure. I like to see good games. And the SEC, as we all know, is I still think it's the strongest, conference top to bottom, in college football. So yeah, from that standpoint, I am, and I am glad to be able to see, every team in the conference for, over a home and away over a 4-year period. I think that's good, but I just think that as far as the playoff goes, I know the coaches aren't too thrilled about the situation right now because their job just got a whole lot tougher.
Hey, Ant, if folks want to follow along, tell them how they can find you. I really appreciate you taking some time for us.
Sure.
And jumping on with us here, man, and keep braving the weather down there.
Yep. Hey, well, they can find me on UGAsports.com and on Twitter, Anthony, or X, whatever you want to call it now, Anthony-1. I still call it Twitter.
It's Twitter to me, brother. I mean, you know, Elon's in the fourth corner of his mind. People like him are so smart they can't tie their own shoes. But I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Sure, man. Anytime.
Great Anthony Dasher one more time. Matt, that'll be an interesting game tomorrow night with the man you call Conzo White. Danny White's, is that his little brother or older brother? What's the pecking order there? Do we know?
I think he's older.
I'm not sure.
Yep, we had a Harvey catching sighting.
Yeah, well, they play up tempo and shoot a bunch of threes now, not the boring style he played down there in Gainesville when they were, just kind of mucking around.
Yeah, I wonder what that's about. What do you think that's about? Generally, these guys don't change course unless they're either hearing the footsteps or what they're doing.
He heard the footsteps in Gainesville. That's why he went to Athens.
Ah.
But no, he is kind of changing things. I think he was really up tempo at Louisiana Tech, and I think Anthony Dasher talked about it.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
So that's why when he went to Gainesville and just played at a really slow pace, it didn't make a ton of sense. Because usually you want to do that when you're the less talented team and kind of in that underdog role, which coming off the Donovan era, they kind of weren't down there. But no, should be a fun, just one of these games where it's kind of matchup dependent, and some teams will be ready to play. You just never know how could go either way. We've seen a lot of blowouts from underdogs, which I think is the interesting thing. It's not like the underdogs are squeaking out wins; they're hammering teams, even on their home courts.
How about that Alabama bunch? They've lost 3 games at home already. Stephen F. and Pearl goes into. We talked about it. Florida had 2 of them, 2 losses. Including Auburn going there and winning. That's the thing. The sameness of this league, these teams are winning on each other's floors a little more than I thought they would, which I wonder now that Nate Ament has kind of matured a little bit. I wonder if the Vols pick up a few more road wins than we anticipated a few weeks back. That's kind of my thought. I don't know. We'll talk to Mark about that. I wonder what Tennessee does in terms of from here, in terms of altering what they're going to do offensively. Because I do think they should alter some things with this kid.
By the way, Mike White is 3 years older than Danny.
All right. 865-200-5402. We got a lot to get to and very little time to get there. If you want to get in, 865-200-5402. The great Mark Griffin coming up in our second hour. It's going to be unbelievable, Andy. I'm looking forward to breaking it down with him. We had a great blog entry today about the Hoops program and that will serve as a syllabus of sorts for what we're going to see going forward. Did the Vols turn a corner Saturday night? Is that a game we're going to look back on, like Bino said, and it's a mark-the-tape moment for the rest of the year? Or whatever, more of the same. Let's go to the phones. 865-200-5402. You're on the air. Hi.
How are my friends and compatriots doing today?
Hey, Lynn. Welcome in.
Tony, what time is the Georgia game tomorrow night?
No idea. 8 o'clock?
It's 7 o'clock.
Thank
7
God.
o'clock.
Thank God. 7 o'clock.
Tony, it was 20 years ago, not to this day, but 20 years ago that the state flag that you and a lot of people have seen made its debut, and it was the Pearl Patrol to Athens, Georgia for the basketball game. I was in my minivan Pearl Patrol, and you were in a bus with Bill Seaton as the driver. And that's when that state flag, it's 20 years old this year.
Wow. I thought you were going to say it was 20 years ago today. Sergeant Pepper taught the band to play.
No. You remember the Pearl Patrol?
Oh, yeah.
We took over Georgia's arena. It was unbelievable.
Never be forgotten by the living fam, brother.
And I just thought about that. We're playing at Georgia, and I thought, man, that was 20 years ago that happened, and it was a wonderful thing. Is Bill Seaton still around? I hadn't seen him in a while.
Man. It's a great question. You brought up a great name.
I knew him from high school.
Bill Seaton.
So, but anyhow, Tony, this movement, you're right. Saturday is, I almost want to say it's a must-win game. And what I meant yesterday was barely over 500 in the conference. I'm hoping for 10-8 right now.
Oh, I know
Are y'all
what you meant.
hoping for more?
I know what you meant. I don't know. I think with Nate meant, Matt, I'm done trying to figure this team out or the final record.
Right.
Matt, do you think this team's capable of winning more road games after the other night, or is this a case-by-case deal? We need to pump our brakes here.
You've got your more winnable road games there at the end of the season where you hope this team is playing at its best and Ament continues to develop. So I think there's still 2 or 3 road wins out there this team can get easily.
And in a way, Lynn, the way the schedule worked out, you kind of got your 3 rough-em-up games out of the way, and you won one of them. Alabama, when you looked at that schedule, was one of your, hey, you might get roughed up in that game. It's a tough place to play. We knew Arkansas was going to be a tough place to play. We knew Florida because they, and we got the day that the guard decided to play like a winner. He's played like a loser since we've seen him, but
I know it.
We got the Bogey Flan game. Bogey went off on us.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm all for trying to win and thinking we can win every game, but, we do have Vanderbilt twice in the last 5 games.
That's right.
They're favored in every road game except Vandy and Kentucky.
That's right.
So, there will be some opportunities there.
Yep.
Good. Yeah, I agree. So, I just want to get in the tournament. That's my goal right now, getting the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And possibly have a game that's close to Knoxville where we can get some fans there.
Well, congratulations, because you've done that. You've accomplished that. We're in the tournament, brother.
Now, on this debacle with the Big Ten vetoing the 16-team playoffs, it's completely outrageous. And
yes,
what people kind of forget is we've always said you have to play one Power 4 opponent. Which means that means we're going to be playing 10 Power 4 opponents. The Big Ten has never instituted that rule. Go back and look at a bunch of last year's Big Ten teams.
So Matt said, yep.
They played 3 hoopties. They didn't even play a Power 4. So we have put ourselves at a disadvantage. We're going to end up with a bunch of 8 and 4 teams. And I don't know how the committee's going to look at all that. I don't trust them.
Well, here's the thing I wrote today in the blog, and I mean this. Gets knocked out by that ninth game they're playing, and they get knocked out of the playoff. This Greg Sankey guy is going to have some splaining to do. This tarnishes him. This is supposed to be the golden boy that runs the whole thing, and he sort of prances around, and he kind of is over the whole thing, and they bring him on and interview him during all these different sporting events on the SEC, and he's pontificating. Hey, he's weaker now. He is a weakened commissioner by what's happened here. He's weakened.
He sure is, because he acted like he had it in writing. The Big Ten was going to go to 16.
That is correct, sir. That is correct, sir. W. Lynn. That's absolutely right.
And they just made us look like a bunch of fools. Him especially. Yep. And the fact that one conference out of them all has a veto power. Notre Dame rule they put in.
That is Matt, how about them getting the knee pads out for Notre Dame for some reason? Would you explain that to me, Matt? Somebody please explain that to me. They haven't won a natty since '88. I mean, my Roan. They're going on 40 years.
And that committee's going to do everything they can to put them in the top 12 as long as they're 10-2.
I mean, I don't understand it. It's an outrage. They got the knee pads.
They did.
Well, you're my man, W. Lynn. I love you. Thank you. You fire me up, folks. Me and prepare me. Let's get our next call in. Hello and welcome. You're on the air.
Well, good morning from South Siberia, Tony.
Holly, how's it happening in South Siberia? What part of you're in the western part of the state, right? Holly?
Huh?
Are you in the western part of the state? You are, right? Jackson area? Hello?
Yes, I'm in the southwest part of the state.
Did you lose your power?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Prayers up.
Oh, gosh. Oh, yes. It was terrible. We just got our power back on. Something's wrong with my phone. I'll try to call back.
Yeah, something's wrong. Your phone, it's probably, and I'm not a big guy that's a big expert in packet loss and the nodes and packet loss, but it's something about the nodes and the packet loss between here and there. Because I would imagine there's a lot going on. Sam in Nashville said, I saw Sankey at the TGL golf show the other day hanging out with his rich buddies. He ain't too worried about this deal. But we're glad, Holly, you're doing well. We're glad the friends to the west of us are coming back online. That storm is Nashville Lee sent me a video of some tree fell near where he was, kicked off some sparks off, I don't know, power line. I don't know how it all works, but caught a house on fire right around the corner from him, and that thing was eerie looking, boy. And Kyle Blackburn's account of it is you're laying there in the middle of the night and you hear these, and I can distinctly remember an ice storm as a kid. I can still hear those sounds. You're laying there in the middle of the night and you're just about asleep and you hear boom, 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 boom. And a tree is just basically falling. We live near kind of a wooded area. And you can hear those trees start to fall. And they start falling around you, when that ice gets too heavy on those trees. As I said last week, snow, I care less. You'd snow a foot and a half. Keep that ice away from me. That's scary, scary stuff, man. When those lines start to freeze or those trees start to freeze and it pulls those trees down, times like that you realize we think we're in charge when you get up in the morning and you're kind of not. But so prayers up to everybody involved. That stuff is really haunting. Like some of the images that are coming out from various parts of our state and seeing how that's afflicted these people. Brian, could you imagine being without power for several days? Plaster told me he hadn't had power since Friday night.
I don't like being without power for several minutes.
I mean, that ice, Matt, that's just something we don't trifle with. And the sound, Kyle brought me back, and Lee, those guys both say that haunting sound that those trees make when they're falling in the middle of the night. I can so relate to that. I can, because it's just eerily quiet. And then all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. And whether
that's what's crazy, because when you have the ice and all that, there's no cars on the road. You don't have that like background noise to drown some of that stuff out. So when you hear even just branches falling off trees make huge noise.
Yes.
So, yeah, it is crazy how that happens, and how dangerous ice is compared to just how little of it you need to cause damage, as opposed to like snow.
My brother,
and with the way you can treat roads now, it's hard you can't really do anything about ice.
My brother-in-law Joe got out, had a convenience store like a mile and a half literally from his house, and went to go get some milk. So he made a little drive, down the hill, and he slipped on some of that ice and broke his hip. I mean, that ice is, you fall on ice and you know how unforgiving that is. This piece of blacktop, he's walking into the store, he slips and falls, and shattered his hip, just shattered it. Ice, I'm a respecter of ice. Snow, whatever. Snow's pretty, and it's this and it's that. I mean, it's all bah humbug at this point, but the ice thing is nothing to play with. So prayers up to our friends to the west of us, and to our friends in various parts. And Holly, we're glad you got your power back. Marky Mark joins on the other side. The Tennessee Hoops Hour, we're going to visit with the great Mark Griffin. This win, I'm not going to lie to you. I go back and forth with this Tennessee basketball team. I'm back right now. Now, come tomorrow night, I might be fourth, but I'm back on that bandwagon right now. I'm back on that chain gang. I'm a full believer right now, because as Griff told me in the off season, can I get an amen? He came back from practice. He said, "Can I get an amen up in here? Can I get an amen?" The other night we got an amen, and we got an hallelujah. We got an amen and an hallelujah the other night. Hour 2 after this.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fanrun Radio.
It's the hottest postgame show on the planet. Garza Law, fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio Show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm gonna hop online and I'm gonna get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Basilio here for Budget Transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our Gold Bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to budget.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama ZZ approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Newsflash, Basilio listeners, the spring real estate market just moved up. Yes, it's chilly outside and you're still in your puffy coat, but if you need to sell your East Tennessee property, you could be the hottest house on the block. Hi there. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. February is the sweetheart month of real estate, and savvy sellers know exactly what that means. Get ahead of the game and give me a call at 865-694-5904 or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols!
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
VIP Play coming soon. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
I got to tell you right now, our WeShipFloors.com Tennessee Hardwood Report was one for the ages today. And it will serve as a floating working syllabus for what we're going to do today, as Mark Griffin's now in the house. And one of the members of the Lunchy Bunch is down today, but not out. Shout out to John Adams as he rests and recuperates. But our friends at WeShipFloors.com, we have some leftover thoughts on that huge win by the Vols. But let me, without further ado, bring the great Mark Griffin in here. All right, Griff, you called me up and said, can I get an amen a few months ago? The Vols are back. Can I get an amen from you? Are you back in the boat?
Oh, sure. I mean, I've really never left the boat. It's just the season's going to ebb and flow based on personnel that they play against. Could be venue. It's just inconsistencies. There's a lot that goes into play in basketball, which is so much different than football, and you really can't even compare because you look at the sample size. When you're playing a 30-plus game season, they always talk about peaking during the end of the season for the tournament. And the way I look at it, I think that Tennessee's have got a much better, a higher projection. They could go in a much better direction northwise to improve as a team, or trajectory. Excuse me, that's what I'm looking for. So you just got to work through the issues. And has Amen, is he now established? I know that's what everybody's going to ask. Well, to me, this is how I was playing when I was going to practices pre-season. He was at the top of his game. And guys go through funks. And, you get in your head, and you can see that when he was at the free throw line. Has he worked through that totally? I hope so. Is he more comfortable? Looks like it. Will this continue? We hope. But, the concern that I still have for Amen is he going to get the ball in his hands enough, which they did display at Alabama. But will they go away from that? Who's going to bang him up as far as defender? Because that's what the word is. We talked about that even in preseason. It's like bang him wherever he gets. If he can still get high on his shot when he gets banged, he's got a really good chance to complete that three-point shot and get to the free throw line. And that's the biggest difference I've seen, guys, is he was shooting the ball shooting while he was coming down on his shot and not at the apex. And it looks like he's really been working on that, and maybe he's gotten stronger and tougher. But the number one thing, and I'm not saying this is going to happen a lot, but if the first game, guys, he's ever shown emotion after getting the three-point basket. And I thought that was huge. I actually yelled. I'm like, oh, my God, he showed emotion. Now, you don't have to show emotion to be elite. I just think it carries over. And if you do it, seldomly, I think it means more. And I'm just excited to see what he's done, as well as how Tennessee played on the road against a team that we knew was going to shoot over 30. They were averaging 36 three-pointers attempts a game, and I think they shot 26 against Tennessee. So I think Tennessee did a really good job of slowing that down.
Oh, no question. And they had Alabama off balance a lot throughout that game. A couple key components in that one before Ament took over in the second half. Gillespie, I thought, did a really nice job, or they did a very good job of adjusting late in the first half and getting him downhill more. Because what those teams want to do is they want to pull you into playing their game. You stay on the perimeter. You turn that thing into a three-point shooting contest. You are not running clock. You're not controlling the game. They're controlling the game. You get the clock down a little bit, and then you get your guard going downhill. And Gillespie, Griff, as we know, can control games because he has the ability to get inside. Now, he can get out of control in times. We've seen that. And he can turn a ball over. He can be loose with it. But he was really at his best late in that first half when the Vols really – that was probably the key juncture in the game, I thought, Griff.
Yeah, and he just snakes in so well, finds gaps.
Yep.
You know, you always talk about shooting the gap, and he just seems to be able to create a lot, like you said, for going downhill. And what I was really pleased, and I do keep up with stats during the timeouts, but he had 2 turnovers, and one of them, you know, many of us at the end of the game went, oh, my God, here's a trend, because he had a really bad turnover towards the end of the game, which, you know, could have, you know, put Alabama at a better position to win. But he only had 2. And you know, that I thought that was a great number for him, as much as he's got the ball in his hands. And he played almost the entire game minus 2 minutes, and he didn't look like he was tired at all.
Yeah, breaking it down scientifically, Griff's right, Matt. That 2-man game they played at the end of the deal, Dixon, how much more do you think that was a byproduct of the fact that you're playing an Alabama team that's not necessarily as physical as they could be? Or is that something that Barnes just said, hey, when we get to the stretch in this game, because he basically said after the Kentucky game, hey, look, I'm the coach here, and for some reason, the guy that won us the A&M game, we didn't play through him tonight. And we're going to learn from it. And, Dixon, that's exactly what they did the next time they got on the floor, which begs the question, is that what we're going to see going forward? Matt, are you ready to say that?
I think that's what they'll try to do going forward, but I think, you know, other teams are better defensively at taking some of that away. I mean,
yes.
Alabama doesn't put a whole lot of pressure on you defensively to do some of that. But no, I mean, you have to play through those 2 guys. They're your 2 scorers, and you just hope that you know your hodgepodge of everybody else can kind of contribute in ways in every other game. But I mean, you have to run your offense and everything through Gillespie and Ament, and because they are your scorers, and they're gonna take, you know, half your shots between the 2 of them. I would think maybe even more than that in some games, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I do want to ask Griff, because I know he's big on the body language and talking about Ament. It seemed like they made it a key to go to him and run things through him in that second half, starting early. Is that something that in the locker room, you know, Coach Barnes challenges him? Does a teammate challenge him? Because he did look noticeably different and confident in that second half.
That's a great question. I think it first comes from the coach. You know, as a player, you know, you're always hoping, anticipating that your teammates step up. I don't think it's as common for players to go to each other one-on-one and say, you need to step it up, because you don't want to put the added pressure, but you do want to encourage your teammates. But I think once you hear it from the head coach, I think it gives more of a green light to the players, because they've got so much in their head already. You really want to clear the mind as much as you can and just focus on, it's cliche, but one possession at a time, staying positive. It's like golf, you know, you're looking to your next shot, forget what you did, your past shot. Same thing in basketball, and probably every sport, is just look forward. But it can come from the players too. It also depends on his, you know, relationship and respect with his teammates.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Where they stand, but wherever it came from, Tennessee definitely benefited, and like y'all mentioned earlier, it just needs to carry forward. Will Ament get 20 shots? Gillespie get 20 shots against Georgia? Is that going to be the MO for them to be successful? I can guarantee you Mike White, head coach of Georgia, is breaking down film, and he's going to try to limit that, because we've talked about this every week, is, you know, your 2 primary players, and if you're scouting them, you want to take away. And you can't guard everybody. You want to find some weakness that you just try to maximize, you know, a situation where Ament or Gillespie can hurt you worse and then put it on someone else. And I have a good feeling that they're not going to get 40 shots against Georgia. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Hey, Mark, who was your pick to become that third scorer I think Tennessee's going to need coming down the stretch?
Well, and see, that's the major issue is who is the third scorer. And right now, guys, I don't know as far as guards. I can't look on that bench if I'm Coach Barnes and go, I need 6 points in the next 3 minutes. Who am I going to get it from? I don't know where you turn from the way I view the game. Now, a lot of that, unfortunately, guys, is going to come from the flow of the game in real time. Let's say, for example, you've got Amari Evans in the game. Let's say he gets free, knocks down a three. Then you're like, oh, okay, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm more comfortable to leave him in down the stretch. But if you've got guys that are not playing as well, let's say Boswell's not shooting the ball as well, it's like, can I call a play for him? You know, do I restrict him when it's under 10 seconds in the clock? What if they are doubling or leaning towards Gillespie's way? Who is going to be the guy that I'm going to be confident in to shoot the ball? And I think that's going to be ongoing for the rest of the season, guys. Now, inside, if they can pound the ball inside, you've got more options. But I really do think that, you know, a lot of these teams are going to really crowd the inside and make you beat them from the outside. And we've seen that year after year with different teams that are, you know, primarily three-point shooting teams. So, excuse you.
The one thing about this ball club, the one thing about this this particular Tennessee team is that it's such a puzzle, and we see it night in and night out. And some nights these pieces just don't fit together, and that's going to happen for this group. Really, it's going to happen until we're all comfortable and confident that they have a little more chemistry. Griff, that's
speaking of which, Tony.
Yeah.
One thing that I don't know if you talked about already.
No.
Please forgive me. I haven't been able to hear your show during the week.
Hit it.
But when you think of Tennessee going to Alabama, I felt bad for Dwayne Brown.
Yeah.
Here's a kid from Birmingham. He's been starting. Go to Alabama, sits the bench. Yep. And I'm like, oh God, what happened? Did he play badly in practice? Is Barnes sending a message? Why is Estrella playing? Which, you know, I've been hard on him because I think the lack of defensive effort of getting on the floor and even blocking out. And then Estrella does a really sound job defensively and started and did a really sound job defensively. So for Dwayne Brown played, 5 minutes. Why was that? So you talked about consistency. I mean, it's like with Barnes and a lot of coaches, and I do like this. I think you play guys that practice well, and I don't know if that question was asked to him, but when I saw that Estrella was starting, I thought, ooh, big blow to Brown. Maybe he wasn't working as hard the last few days. He's going pretty much home, knows a lot of these guys, got a lot of family members there, and he's not even playing.
That is interesting. Yeah, we talked about that post-game. I wonder if it's matchup dependent, too. I wonder if they looked at it because the other night, the other guy that's a little bit plotting, the Carey kid, didn't fit in that game either. I wonder if that was a thing where they just decided matchup dependent-wise. Matt, you have a theory on that? Could it have been that Bama's a little too athletic? And that might have been the thought?
Yeah, it probably has to do with Bama being a little bit more athletic because there were a number of times where Estrella got switched on one of those driving guards at the top of the key. And, I mean, he didn't defend him well, but he defended him just good enough most times for it not to be a huge advantage for Bama to get to the rim or get to the foul line. So I'm not sure Brown and even Carey, who got hurt, that wasn't a game that I think those guys could function in because of the way Bama spaces the floor and can attack the rim with those driving guards on the switches. And Estrella held up more than adequate in those spots the 4 or 5 times that he did that. I think there was one he got committed a bad foul in the first half, but he was okay there. And I'm not sure Brown or even Carey could have done that because of the athleticism and the length that Bama has.
Yeah, and Scott Morrow just said, Estrella's a better option to get points down low. Brown doesn't seem to give us that at this time. I don't know if I agree with that. I think the Brown kid has proven at times to be a pretty adept scorer, but certainly it seems like Estrella athletically, if he's dialed in, there are nights where Estrella, just for whatever reason, he just goes in and out. And part of me wants to attribute that to the fact that he's been so beat up and so banged up. And Griff, we saw early in the game the other night, a couple different occasions, at least 3 where defensive rebounds hit the floor, which coaches hate that stuff. They hate seeing. And Tennessee, the first 10 minutes of that game, looked like they were going to get blown out of that basketball game, Griff, the way they were just kind of lollygagging around on defense. But they really picked it up. The final 30 minutes of that game on defense. And Estrella was a big part of that. I thought his effort was very good the other night.
You're right. And Matt, you bring up a good point about matchups. Sherrell, their big guy, huge. He's like 255. They list. He's probably 270. He's 6'10". So that could be a factor that played with this, played in Barnes's decision. And I'm so thankful they were able to foul him out because, really good presence inside gives you a big competitive advantage on the inside. And I think you're going to see that. I know we'll talk about Georgia, but the same thing. Georgia just doesn't have the depth nor the height that Alabama does, nor athleticism for that matter. But they are playing at home. They've had a crappy pre-conference schedule. I mean, it was garbage. But they have had a few big wins in the SEC, including especially that Arkansas. The last time they played at home, they beat Arkansas 90-76. So, I mean, and I'm sure they're glad to be back home after the last couple of games.
The thing that really that I want to talk about on the other side is Mark Griffin's here, and we're lunchy bunching it, is what's the ceiling of this basketball? We're looking at this team, and you look through the prism of, okay, you play the season, are you an NCAA tournament team? This team's an NCAA tournament team. You play the season, and what seed are you going to be? Well, look, as we wrote today on the blog, and C helped me with this, when you look at where Torvik has the Vols right now, you're talking about a team that Bart Torvik thinks is somewhere as the first 5 seed right now. Maybe you can get into that 4 line. Again, that's a spot from where you can make a run in the tourney. You're in a spot on the bracket. I mean, you're in a spot where you can make a run. So the question is, where are the growth areas for this team? How can you get there? Now, look, the schedule's going to lighten up, which will help the confidence. But I'm not sure the schedule lightening up this year. I'm not even sure what that means, simply because there's just a glut of basketball teams this year in this deal. But one of the things I want to ask the panel about, and I want us all to think about, is where are the growth areas for this club? Is there somebody that we're not thinking of right now that's going to emerge? Could it be this Henderson kid? Could it be this Evans kid? I love this Evans guy. I think he's one to build around going forward. I think he is a nice piece. They need a third consistent scorer, somebody you can count on to emerge. But this team really has to get better defensively. We'll talk about that. Can you get better? I want to ask Griff about that. The little things about playing defense. Another thing I want to ask Griff about is, on Monday, I'm going to be at Tennessee's Round Ball Club. I'm going to be over at Calhoun's. I'm going to be hosting the Jacoby Gillespie interview up there. I've been asked to do that. I'm going to go do that. And shout out to Mike Turner and those guys. But one of the things I want to ask Gillespie, and I want to get Griff's thoughts on this, is when you're in his spot and you're a veteran player, and how do you bring a guy like Ament along to the point where you start handing him more and more responsibility? I know the coaches do that, but really the point guard is the guy. He's a quarterback on the floor. He's really the guy that has to grow him too. Not only do the coaches have to grow him, but he has to grow him. And Griff taught me a long time ago the art of, and Matt mentioned this earlier, body language. And watching these guys as they communicate with each other on the floor. And watching the way they play together. And I want Griff to sort of take us inside that. The way a point guard, a veteran point guard, the way he will grow a guy like Ament. Because that's part of it here. Kind of letting go of the reins. This was my deal. Now it's going to be your deal. And it's going to be our deal. It's kind of fun to think about. We continue with more on the other side. So lots of conversation up for grabs, more after this. Are you currently a residential electrician? Would you like more benefits, better pay, more upside? What about a $3,000 signing bonus? Free company paid health insurance, annual profit share, company vehicle, gas card, much more. Call Advent Electric today. Advent, known for their large commercial jobs around town, and due to high demand, they're adding additional roles for their residential department. Maybe you know a friend, family member that's a residential electrician. Spread the word. Email hr@adventelectric.com. hr@adventelectric.com. 865-588-0631 and ask for the Tony B 3K signing bonus. Advent Electric is hiring.
White Claw is taking hard seltzer to
land. Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contract. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting.
College football fans, Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold, refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a two-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dose with Dos Equis. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Basilio here with my buddy, Connexio Kristen.
Hey, Tony. Good to see ya. Connexio builds fleet technology that helps transportation and logistics companies win big. Live GPS, easy ELD and compliance tools, AI dash cameras, and asset tracking, all backed by the .1 U.S. customer support team. Want a better playbook for your operations? Visit Connexio.com/Tony. That's KONEXIAL.com/Tony. Connexio, built for drivers, trusted by fleets, and proud Vol fans.
Tony Basilio here, and I got the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance 2026. Chad, do you believe we've made it?
Boys and girls teams start off the new year at big national event showcases. We got our younger kids training indoors and doing a lot of things to get better. So we're excited about what the future holds.
Chad, I hear the juice behind you. I hear the kids. Your program reaches throughout East Tennessee. If folks want to get involved, what's the advice?
We're easy to get in touch with. We offer players at all ages, all levels, all experience. We have a program for all of our kids that we have, and we're excited for anyone to join us.
And even some Lady Vols as well. Several college players all over the country, yes?
Absolutely. We had a lot of girls that we were able to watch play in the NCAA tournament. A lot of our former players made big runs through the tournament. We're so excited for them.
Growing the beautiful game. In this, the year of the World Cup in North America, celebrate the beautiful game. Get your child involved. FCAllianceKnox.org. That's FCAllianceKnox.org. And Chad, thank you, man. Keep growing the beautiful game.
Absolutely, Tony, and thank you very much.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
From the sunrise over the Smokies to the Saturday cheers at Neyland Stadium, Knoxville isn't just where we live, it's home. But let's be honest. Finding your perfect spot in a hot market can feel like a full-time job. Whether you're looking for a Craftsman in 4th and Gill, a family home in Farragut, or a view in South Knox, the market moves fast. You need more than a listing. You need an edge. And that's where I come in, Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty. And I specialize in helping Knoxville buyers win. I don't just find houses, I find the right fit for your budget and your lifestyle. Ready to unlock your front door? Visit nextmovesmokymountains.com or call me at 865-694-5904. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com. And as always, go Vols.
TB back with you, 865-200-5402. Is the numero uno, numero dos, as we welcome you back. This is, ladies and gentlemen, your Tony Basilio Show, our Tuesday visit with the great Mark Griffin, which fires me up, folks, and prepares me. And the thing I love about it is I know that it's a great segment because I hear it from people, but also I know it's a great segment because during our post-game stuff, our work with Garza Law, Tennessee Basketball Overtime, which we'll have 2 of those this week, post Georgia Wednesday night, post Auburn on Saturday. I know it's a great segment because we're referring back to it during those post-game shows. So we try to cover a lot of things that we see, but then a lot of things we're going to see. From that perspective, Griff, one of the things I wanted to ask you about, because you've taught me the art of kind of watching these guys together, and you can see when guys are gelling on the floor, or even when they're not. You can kind of tell, like, guys that enjoy playing with each other, and sometimes they don't. Like, or guys that, really are in the moment, and sometimes they're not. Gillespie, sure, head coach can say, get Ament the ball, blah, 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 blah. But from Gillespie's perspective, he's got to grow Ament as well. He's a veteran player. He's played a ton of basketball. And Ament's still a kid. And, Griff, how much of a role is it for a guy like Gillespie who's played a lot of basketball at Belmont, at Maryland, it's been in a lot of situations where he's been tested. How responsible is he to help Ament grow here? What do you think?
You said Vanderbilt. He was at Belmont.
I mean, Belmont.
Did you say that? Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, I think, wherever. He's here now. It's all that matters. I think if anyone's in Ament's ear, it would be Gillespie. And even the coaches, going back to what we talked about earlier, you don't want everybody in his ear because you got family members, you're looking at media, you got your agent, whatever. So, the less noise, the better. But Ament will lean on someone like Gillespie, and he could kind of more or less be like a mentor to him, if you want to use that term, because you're right. He's been down this road before. He can lead him in that direction and prepare him, let him know how things work and have worked in the past with Gillespie's experiences. He can bring out examples of when he was at Maryland. They had the kid, was it Derek Queen, I think his name is. Brian, you'll probably remember. That's
Queen.
in the NBA now.
That's him. Yep.
That he can refer to what top players that were ranked, not even use the word ranked when he's talking, but elite players and what they went through and how important it is to work together, play through play through your strengths and play through your weaknesses. So I think a lot of that will go on definitely during practice, and then not only during practice, but film study. They'll do scouting reports. They'll have dinner time. I mean, these guys are together a lot, guys, and you got to have something to talk about. And I'm sure that Gillespie's done a lot, because you're right. I mean, he is the point. I mean, he is the quarterback on the team. He's leading this team, and he's like a director. I mean, he's got to make sure that everybody's playing their role and be that quarterback or leader on the court. And from a player standpoint, you'd rather hear it from a player than you would a coach. And I'm not disrespecting any coach out there, but when you're playing and if you're always looking over at the sideline, usually it's not good when you're looking over the sideline. It's not like a lot of coaches, if you watch, guys are sitting there going, hey, great job. For the most part, when you're looking on the side, they're getting on you about something. And you like I said, you try to block all that out the best you can. So to have someone like Gillespie that just seems like such a leader, I'd like to see more of a vocal leader for everyone involved.
Yeah.
But
I'm
sure that he's playing his role the best he can.
Yep.
I think he talked about growth, Tony, with players. I think that's one of the areas I would like to see is more of a vocal role, pulling guys in during a free throw attempt and guiding them to be prepared for the next play.
Griff, why aren't these guys, and this is the other area, look, if they're going to take another step, they've got to become a Rick Barnes defensive basketball team. Right now, they're a pretty good college basketball defensive team, but again, I'm back to this, and they did it Saturday night. They do enough little things to get beat. Now, there were 3 of them in the last 90 seconds the other night, and they got away with one of them. Gillespie dribbled a ball off his leg. You can't do that when they're playing a two-man game. Estrella grabbed a rebound and went right back up with it instead of kicking it back out and running the clock, that's winning basketball. That's just what you do. And then both stars turned the ball over to Boswell, not turned the ball over, but gave the ball to Boswell a couple of times in the last 90 seconds. Boswell's not touching the ball there if you're trying to play winning basketball and salt games away. But that stuff aside, they're still making way too many little mistakes on defense, lapses, whatever you want to call it, concentration, little things that are just so far inside the game. You've got to look for them. Griff, from your standpoint, can they grow defensively, or is this team what they are on defense?
You can grow defensively. I think that if you look back at the beginning of the season versus now, you're stronger defensively, and your offense grows more during the season. Your defense is stable and grows some, but your offense will grow significantly more. So it's going to be a challenge. Now, you bring up a great point about lapses, because overall, this is still a very strong defensive team statistically.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look, I mean, as far as opponents' field goal percent, Tennessee's 23rd in the country out of 365 teams. That's elite. They're holding teams to under 40% field goal shooting. But to your point, it's that one shot that they don't hold them under 40%, a lapse in judgment. And a lot of that, I hate to say it, just comes back to focus, moving your feet, the little things, communication, and move your feet. When you see a team that over communicates and moves their feet more than normal, you're going to see a winning team. It's just basic, guys. I know in going back to football, you got all these different styles of defense and all these different plays and that you hear and sets. In basketball, it's pretty simple. Play harder, move your feet, communicate. I mean, it's not a lot. But you have to be in rhythm and sync as a unit, going back to the chemistry part. And then you just have to, a lot of it's just out efforting. Obviously, any team that Tennessee plays and you watch on TV, there's going to be great athletes. But a majority of the difference that you're going to see moving forward and how people do postseason is between the ears. It really is. How well do you take it between the ears? And what I mean by that is, what is your mental capacity and how strong are you mentally when your sphincter gets tight and you're on national TV?
Yo. Rut-row is Griff joins.
And that's a concern.
No. With this bunch it is. Yeah, when you open your eyes, Matt, this team here goes in and out mentally. There's just no doubt about that. They just do, for whatever reason. Maybe more so than past Barnes teams. This team here is they're a box of chocolates now.
Yeah, and especially on defense, because you don't have Ziegler and Meshack, who were as elite defensively as you've ever had here.
Yep.
And Meshack could really guard 1 through 5, but especially 1 through 4. And that's where, the rotations where we have, the late rotations and we give up open looks like that, that does bother us. I just don't think this team's great kind of on-ball defenders.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like you have those freshmen who just don't know how to defend. A guy like Evans and Henderson probably can be pretty good in a year or two, but they're just not great on-ball defenders. And then Boswell he's probably your best one, but he gets, like Griff's talking about moving your feet. Boswell just gets out of position. He's just not athletic enough, like a Meshack or, Josh Richardson, Melvin Goins, one of those really, really good perimeter defenders. And that gets him in foul trouble way too much. Boswell in these league games is getting to him. He gets 2 fouls before the under 12 timeout about every game.
Always. And he doesn't. The thing about Boswell is he doesn't know when to hold him and when to fold him. He's like running around like a wild man out there, which I kind of appreciate.
Like a Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't know when to hold him, when to fold him, and so
he defends like he's the sixth man off the bench that's only playing 12 or 15 minutes.
That's right.
Yeah,
He's not conserving himself. That's a good way of putting it. So tonight in the league, I'm going to go through this, and then I'm going to go through the other stuff. Tonight in the league, we've got Arkansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Alabama, Kentucky, Vanderbilt are your 3 league games. Griff, what's obviously the Kentucky Vandy game is the most interesting of the 3 there, yes?
Oh, no doubt. And despite the bad weather, I'm sure Byington will send out sleds. He'll send out emergency personnel. He'll send out whatever he has to get people in Memorial.
Yep.
We'll see how the Belmead faithful come, which is only about 6 miles away.
Yep.
They're known for showing up late. Clear the roads. If they could get the fans there, that's going to be once again a magical game. They call it Memorial Magic. I like Vanderbilt there, especially playing at home. I just think that if it's close board wise, Vanderbilt I think can win that game. Now, if Kentucky dominates on the boards, I think it'll be a different story. Oweh is their key. You've got to know with Kentucky, you got to know where he is. He's a dynamic player. He seems to be just improving game by game, and I don't think he's relying as much on his three-point shot as he was earlier because he's the best driver to the basket in the conference by far. I think he's target number one on Vanderbilt's scouting report. It's kind of obvious. And then Vanderbilt's just got to keep shooting the ball well from the field. I noted on George Plaster's show the other day that, when Vanderbilt had a 3-game losing streak, everybody was like writing them off already. I'm like, no, their guards haven't shot well. If Miles and Tanner both don't shoot well, they're going to lose. Now, they can win if one of them shoots well, but both of them were shooting in the 30 percentile over 3 games. You're just not going to win.
Yeah, and by the way, in this league, you're going to take your bumps. We've seen it. So 3-game losing streak, whatever, keep playing, everybody keep going. That Vanderbilt team's going to be fine. They're certainly not perfect. They're flawed. Matt, the question for you is, as a hater of Kentucky, they're winner of 3 in a row coming in. Have they gotten it back? Has Kentucky figured it out here, Matt, or is this just a little blip designed to give Matt Jones something to talk about for a few weeks?
No, that they figured out how to come back in second halves. It's not sustainable to get down 15 every first half against good teams, but they've kind of weathered this early season storm where it really felt like they had some locker room chemistry issues and they just weren't playing very well together as a team, especially offensively, and had some injuries. And now they've kind of lost their only point guard. But they I guess they kind of know who their team is now, and they're not rotating guys in. You don't know who's in or out injury wise. So he's kind of done a pretty good job of getting them to where they are now after the first month of the season where they were brutal.
Boy, we really let them up, and LSU really let them up, and now they're on a mini run here, and, tonight Vanderbilt has an opportunity to knock them back down. All right, guys, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern time start, Tennessee and Georgia. This Georgia bunch plays the game a little different than past Mike White, a.k.a. Konzo White teams. They've kind of altered the way they play the game. They're playing faster. They've got smaller athletes. They've got Tamika Catching's nephew. They've got some pedigree out there. They've got Dominique Wilkins' son. They've got Blue Cane. We connected the Blue Chew and Dominique Wilkins' son and Blue Cane yesterday on the show, which, hey, go for it. Smoke them if you got them. Griff, I sort of looked at this game as a loss prior to the Alabama game. I thought we were going to lose both those games. And then I saw Nate amen, and it gave me an amen and an hallelujah. I'm kind of hopeful for tomorrow night now. Am I a sheep, or is this still a game that's going to be a tough one for the Vols to win?
I mean, like you mentioned earlier, each game's going to be tough. I think that this is one you look that Tennessee can win on the road. Yes, I mentioned that they had a big win against Arkansas. I'm just not sold on Georgia as a whole right now based on their pre-conference schedule. Yes, they're second in the country in scoring at over 93 points a game. So they're getting up shots, and what they're really doing a great job is their transition basketball. They're a a really bad 3-point shooting team, which, Tennessee went up against a really good one in their last opponent. With Georgia, they're like almost 300th in the country in 3-point percentage. So let's hope that doesn't change. But good athletes. I think there's some definite mismatches here, though, that Tennessee can take advantage of. You mentioned, Tony, their height. I mean, they've got the big kid. I have to talk about him, Sompto Cyril. He played at EAB in Nashville when I was on the staff with Coach Bellerford, and he coached him. He was after Keon.
Yep.
But I saw him a whole summer develop, and I'll go out on a limb to tell you he's the best shot blocker in the SEC by far. I mean, he's leading the SEC in blocks, and he will dunk harder than anybody, which no one keeps up that stat, obviously. But just a stud inside as far as strength, and but they're lacking outside of him, and he only plays a little bit over half the game. He's fouled out of 5 games, so because Tennessee's so strong inside, I think you definitely expose that and go after him because he tries to block everything. I mean, he doesn't seem to control himself as much defensively on when to go after a shot or not. So I think that's going to be a key advantage because of their lack of inside presence once he's off the court. And then they've got catching 6'9", and then their other guys. I mean, Blue Cane's 6'5". The kid I really like is Wilkinson, and you didn't mention him, but he's a transfer from Cal.
Yep.
I mean, he's their best player, and I've been really impressed with him, and that's going to be a key matchup for Tennessee is to try to slow him down because he's one of the leaders in the SEC in scoring. And then they've got another kid that's 6'3", but a good mix. They got 3 sophomores and 2 juniors. Could play well at home. I think if this is in Knoxville, it's a 20-point game. I really do. But
how about that?
In Athens, I, once again, if you can really get Sompto in foul trouble and contain Wilkinson, I think you've got a really good shot to come away with a pretty big victory, at least 10 points. Now, once again, could be wrong, but I'm not as afraid of this Georgia team that I was of Alabama, like you mentioned. But then again, what's Tennessee's mindset going into this game? Are they going to think, oh, now that we've beaten Alabama, on the road, we're going to take this Georgia team? And you can't obviously look at it that way at all. You have to dominate your opponent regardless of who it is.
Stephen F. Pearl gets on Wednesday night, same exact time slot, Brian Hartman, so there's no advantage. They get Texas. Stephen F. Pearl brings Auburn in here on Saturday, Griff. I gotta say, they're playing pretty good basketball. Don't throw dirt. Hey, don't throw dirt on Stephen F. and Pearl. He might be dancing on that table just yet, Griff. He might be up there dancing on that table.
Has he put in a request for a video presentation honoring his dad and now him like he did in the past?
Oh! Does he get a highlight video of him touching the bottom of a rim?
Yeah, you got a former VFL coming back as a head coach. Got to give him a big standing ovation, I'm sure.
Hey, Matt, when is the last time a VFL came back as a head coach in the Tommy Bowl?
I was just trying to think of that. I don't know. I'm not sure. That's a really good question.
Griff,
it is a great question.
Griff, any idea? Do you have anything?
I have no clue. Has anyone?
I've never heard of it. Maybe somebody is. Maybe somebody out there can jog our memory, our collective mind.
Brian doesn't know.
The collective, as it were. Brian, does anything stick out to you? Huh?
Not that I can think of.
Huh?
It would have been probably with the mid-major type, but I don't think a big school.
Griff, will the
Period.
Pearls comport themselves with class this weekend there? The sister Do they bring her to sing the anthem? Does Danny White reach back, and do they bring her out to sing the anthem and embrace the moment here?
Does Bruce sit on Millionaire's Row with Thunder Thornton and Fulmer
with his boys?
Do they go and shake hands and hug everybody like they've done in the past? Every home game went down what I call Millionaire's Row, which is obviously the front row opposite the bench, and I got a kick out of that. I'm like, you're such a politician before you became a politician.
I hear you have a lanyard. I hear you're a lanyard guy. Several people listening to us are lanyard people that don't want to be lanyard people, but
there's like 3 Millionaires Rows now. Crazy.
And like a buddy of mine said, he had a couple kids that wanted to come sit down there during one of the recent home games, and the family, Griff, if you don't have a lanyard on, the family will tase you. He begged the family. He said, "Would you please let these 2 kids sit here?" And they said, "No, they don't have lanyards." He said, "Look, my seats are open. They can sit here." And the guy said, "They don't have lanyards." And
they'll pull out that dangerous walkie-talkie. When the walkie-talkie comes out, Tony, it's not a good thing. So just beware if you ever do go down the lower level or try to sit in a section and the walkie-talkie comes out, it's not going to be a good ending.
All right, Griff.
You're getting ready to get tased like a Kentucky middle school basketball game.
Matt, there have been 3 brawls in Kentucky high school basketball this week. And when they employ, used to be they would blow the whistle to end the game. Up at Kentucky now for high school games, they end the game with a taser.